research company, and why are they after two women? One
A witness. People just like share.
That's what the story. That's what my mom was saying. All the time.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hello fellow writers. Today I am so excited to say that I started writing. Yes, I started typing new words on a new chapter for my sci-fi novel about a group of people, strangers, working with an anti-trafficking organization to investigate a research company doing some unethical clinical trials and figuring out who is really behind that research company and why are they after two women, one of which is missing. And yeah, there's a lot of international traveling. It's like an international spy novel. I wanted to name it that because that just sounds so cool, but I don't think that's the complete vibe. So no. Anyways, another interesting thing is I did change a few more things about the story, but the foundation of it is the same. I originally had the two women in like separate really areas of the country, other sides of the countries, going through their own clinical trial for this research company. But I realized if they were in the same one, that would make things a lot more interesting. And so that's what I decided to do. And I switched things up a bit because I like it that way. But of course, I'm not going back to start over and rewrite. No, I'm just going to save it for draft 2. Same thing I did for LKZ, my YA fantasy novel I just finished, which I'm still querying for. That will be a separate video. But yeah, so I'm just working on getting all the chapters down because this is what it's for, you know. Same thing with LKZ. When I wrote draft 1, it gave me a better idea of how I wanted the story to go because I realized the way that I wrote it wasn't what I really wanted, or I didn't like it as much. Same thing with how it's going now. There's a lot of things I like, but I'm realizing it could be done better or in a simpler way. And so I'm just gonna keep going. You know, I'm on chapter 18 of 53 chapters that I outlined. And yeah, for this character perspective in chapter 18, she's having like motion sickness on something similar to an airplane. And she's kind of seeing these other two characters who are getting really close. And she feels a bit jealous, even though she isolated herself. But she's kind of sad that no one is checking up on her, even though they can't even see her. She feels a bit neglected, and then she decides to kind of get up and like go sit with them, which is may or may not change, but it's a part of her character. And even with this new sort of direction or change, that's gonna be a huge part of her character, constantly isolating herself, mostly because of the way that she grew up and not really knowing her family background. Even though she's like meeting her family, she doesn't know it yet. But that's gonna be like really, really good for her in the end. I was trying to connect their backstories to give them some sort of tie to each other, the two women. And it just felt like I was creating little subplots, and I don't want that. That's why I'm like, let me just bring everything to the forefront, put them together, and go from there. That's what I'm doing. The character that I'm writing for in this chapter 18, she's about to have a panic attack. I'll call her B. Her name starts with a B. For this part, I have to understand what about the environment she's walking into triggers that panic attack. You know, is it a specific person that she sees? Is it something in the room? Is it the room itself, the way that it's structured, organized? Is it the reason why they're there? They're at the organization's headquarters. So I'm just trying to really dig into her character and kind of understand what would cause her to have this flashback, blast from the past, and give her a panic attack. But I'm gonna leave that for tomorrow. Let's see how many words I wrote. I'm assuming I wrote like 500 words, but maybe not. Wow, I wrote 554 words. I was correct. That's very interesting. 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago, at a very young age of 12, I would have been so sad to have only written 544 words. It was such a struggle for me to even reach 1,000 words. Now it's a lot easier, but I don't stress myself out at trying to reach a specific goal. I just write until I don't feel like I have much else to say. And that's because when I was younger, I was just judging myself a lot in my mind. And so I would write a sentence, rewrite it, hate it, get frustrated, and it would be a lot. I don't do that as much anymore. But now it's not about how much I've written, it's more so completing a specific scene, or again, like I said, writing until I don't have anything more to give for this scene. And I don't have anything more to give at this point for this scene, especially because this scene is going to change in draft 2. So I'm not too concerned about trying to add so much and yada yada whatever. As long as I have the foundation down, when I come back for draft 2, I know how to recreate this scene for the new plot direction. That's literally all I care about. Setting the foundation so I have something to go off of. And that's why I'm okay with ending my writing for today at 544 words. I've been very patient with myself these past few months, and I will continue to be patient with myself. Bye for now.
So, I was saying before that I needed to write a scene where B, the character whose perspective this chapter is in, is having a panic attack. Because of the facility they enter, that didn't happen. The panic attack happened, but much earlier. And to be honest, I think it fits it happening earlier than at the facility. It could be either or. But as I was writing, that's just what ended up happening. So instead of, forcing it to happen later, hey, that's what that's what my mind was saying needed to happen at that time. I wrote like 758 words, which is pretty good, I guess, for right now.